Hello again, everybody. Let's try that again. This video is brought to you in part by Venom, Mojave Rattler. No, I'm just kidding. It's not brought. It, it's fueling me right now. 99 cents, you can't beat it. Anyway, so I'm here today. We had a little bit of a technical error, but we'll get started shortly. So today I'm here with Mr. Chaney Morrow from films such as Haunt from 2019, as well as this year's reboot for Wrong Turn. And hopefully he'll be here shortly. I know he's got some stuff he's got going on. I've got some stuff I've got going on. So, let's see here. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and it seems that here we go. Never mind. Let's see here. I'll do that later. Let's see here. Let's do this now. That's cool. Thanks for joining in. Let's see here. Take a couple sips. There we go.
Hey, man.
It finally worked.
Let me shut this door real quick. There we go. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Just trying to fuel myself a little bit.
Yeah. You say the same thing, I guess.
We got the cheapo energy drink here. Gotta love it.
Oh, I know all about those, buddy.
Yeah, I'm a little. I've been drinking energy drinks probably too long.
Oh yeah, they're not good, but I mean they work.
They do. They
they do. They work, and they're
especially when you work third.
I mean, I used to house like 2 of those 12-ounce Red Bulls every day.
Yeah.
For a work day.
Yeah.
And it just became habit, and the only reason I stopped is because it just got
I kind of
remarkably expensive. But
that's the bad thing about Red Bulls, especially because they're like the most expensive of the energy drinks, and it's just like, but why? I mean, I get that they're like made in like France or something, but I mean, or something like that. I don't know. I want to write them personally, be like, hey, why are you guys so expensive?
Well, it's hard, but if you find a Red Bull, that's pretty rare.
That is true.
I think maybe, I don't know.
Maybe that's why they're so expensive. So, how are you today, sir? I mean, busy per.
Oh man, no, it was I had a fabulous weekend, man. I was
Yeah,
in Las Vegas. I did a little shindig at Nightmare Toys.
I saw
With Christy. Oh man, what a just it's like the wet dream of a horror fan. I swear it is, man. It's got everything, even the obscure shit that only a real horror fan would recognize.
Yeah.
You know, it's got all of that stuff. The intricacies in this place, man, just kept my hours just as a fucking customer, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's so awesome.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's crazy because like I met Christy through. Well, I went to back before they moved to Las Vegas. They were in Alabama. They had a small shop in Alabama, like in Huntsville or something like that, and that's where they started out. It's kind of, well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a little hole in the wall shop, but I mean, it's a lot. It was a lot smaller than what it is now, and I got to see that shop before they moved to Las Vegas, and obviously now Las Vegas's store. I mean, that thing's a warehouse.
It's incredible, man. And there's you know, it's a wider property, and I guess they have a cafe.
Yeah, I saw that.
In the same, like that they're looking to open. Like I'm like, man, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I mean, I had an incredible time there, man. The staff was awesome. I mean, they were, you know, like horror. They weren't just clerks. Like they were people that wanted to come to work. You know, they had passion about it. That was awesome. Christy's awesome. Philip is even cooler. It was, and I couldn't ask for a better gig, man. I mean, I had an incredible time.
That definitely, like I saw the little montage video they did for the event. And it looked like it was a great turnout.
Yeah, I mean, shit, man. Honestly, better than better than I expected.
Well,
Uh,
what you expect when people love your character and love the film Haunt? I mean,
that's thank you, man. No,
the
it's definitely got an audience, but you know, I'm not sure how really wide it goes into what state, and I honestly I felt a little concerned, a little worried the morning of when I found out that my boy Damien wasn't going to be able to make it,
I saw that.
and so I
Wondering
mean
why.
I was in contact with him, making sure he was okay, and I knew he was okay, or you know was but I knew he wouldn't be there, you know, definitely. You know, he was overwhelmed. The guy's working like
Yeah,
a fucking madman, dude.
I know he's
He was
been doing
just
a
overwhelmed, and you know he didn't really need the added pressure, and I get that, and I think that you know it's just too much, man. You can't burn your candle like that.
you can only take so
So I was a little worried with him not being there. You know that the haunt, uh, like mystique of it. You know that you had two of the killers there. That's gone. You know that it's just me, and then I was like, well, fuck, man. You know who? Because to me, it's an ensemble thing.
yeah, in a way. Yeah.
Because you know it's without the killer next to us, like we wouldn't be doing what we were doing, you know. So I always looked at it as kind of a like a baseball team of bad guys.
It's kind of what it seems like with you two, like you, Damien, LC Holt. It was like a big group of you guys that just seemed like you're just kind of like doing bam, bam, bam movies together all of a sudden.
I got pretty lucky, man, with on location where Damien produced and was in. That's where I met LC,
Mm-hmm.
and throughout production, you know, actors can be dicks and be off on their own, but you know, we enjoyed each other's company. The whole cast did. We enjoyed hanging out together, so it really brought the chemistry together, I think, in the film.
Yeah.
And with Damien around, they had this project Time's Up kind of in the works, and I guess you could say I kind of inadvertently weaseled my way in there, you know, just by being in the room. Kind of weaseled my way in there. I mean, it was a legitimate offer and stuff, but you know, I'd be lying if I said that the second I heard about it, I didn't want to be in there somewhere because I love working with those guys. And Damien's he's working on a movie right now called They Watch, which is going to be excellent. And there's an Indiegogo right now for a film he's also got in the works called The Events Surrounding a Peeping Tom, directed by the Hannah Fearman, which she's gonna kill it. And Kate Kiddo, who's best, you better get to know her now because the sky's the limit for this one. You know, that's how good she is. Damien, of course, he's in there. It's the Indiegogo for the event surrounding a peeping Tom is if ever I've seen a campaign worthy of attention, this would be the one. Right here. And Felissa Rose, of course, you know, she's in there, and who doesn't love Felissa Rose? If you don't, you're just a dick, you know. If you don't appreciate Felissa Rose, you're just kind of an ass.
Yeah, not just enjoy anything that she's a part of.
Oh yeah,
it's like
she's such a wonderful person, man. And just if I could have her around for anything, I would.
I you know, she's one I've yet to meet actually yet. I need to. I was hoping she was gonna, because they had the Days of the Dead in Indianapolis here about a couple weeks ago, and I was hoping that she was gonna be there, but I think she ended up having another convention she had been doing or was gonna be doing prior, so obviously that ended up working out for her. But
she's a busy lady. She's a busy lady.
All you guys are. I mean, it just seems like you guys are just like you're mentioning Hannah Fearman. I've actually just got in contact with her about possibly talking about, you know, that I watched the little snippet of the Peeping Tom film.
I love you. Good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it I mean, it looks like, you know, psychological horror. I mean, you know, that's sometimes that's where it's at. Like psychologically, just like some of those are just some of the best, you know, horror films out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, man. Like I love a good creature feature and a good monster show. Uh, but personally, like I'm familiar with the story and stuff, and I'll say not a word about it, but I will tell you it is one of a kind. It's
You have me intrigued.
it's good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good. Like
Well,
I wish nothing but the best for him on that, man, because that's gonna be a really good one. Like kind of shit you line up to see.
yeah, it was kind of cool to see that Hannah was at. And this is kind of weird because like I grew up going to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge as a kid growing up. Like that was our vacation spot. Like so, I never would have thought like some type of comic convention or like a fan fest would be held at Gatlinburg, and then they had this fan fest this past weekend, and Hannah was there, and I just thought that was really cool to think that somebody in our field, like the independent cinema field and all that stuff, would be there.
Mhm.
And she said she really enjoyed it. She said, and I agree with her here. She said Gatlinburg's not as it's not as pretty as it once was. I'm like, well, that's where you run into like that's the problem with commercialized vacation spots. They tend to lose their you know
Their gloss, their glamour.
yeah, especially like I don't know if you've been there yourself.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, there's one thing I learned uh, about the pandemic was in 2020 was there was absolutely nothing that was going to stop a family from vacationing to Tennessee to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge and thinking like this will answer it. We all just get cabins and wait it out for a weekend.
No joke. It was weird because
But no, my kids love Pigeon Forge, man. That's generally where we go.
it's nice because it's like there's a lot to do, but like you don't have to do it. Like it's like one of those things like it's one of those places you can go to and you don't have to necessarily spend a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Like say for instance, like say you're going to go to like Disneyland or something like that. Obviously you're going to spend a butt ton of money there. But like with Pigeon Forge, like they have a lot of attractions and stuff, but then they have like the natural park and stuff like that, and like it's a place that you don't necessarily have to go and spend a butt ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of always been nice about going there, because I mean you can go up in the mountains and just spend a whole day up there just enjoying nature.
Yep. No, yeah, I agree. And this coming back from Vegas, yeah, like I would have much rather been in Pigeon Forge,
That's
monetarily speaking.
Yeah, that's one place I definitely want to go at least once just to say I've experienced it, is Vegas. Just to like I don't have like a huge desire to go there. I just one of those things, just like, hey, like I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a slot person.
I took my fiance, or well, and we finally just tied the knot while we were there.
I saw
Like,
that.
dressed up as Elvis and stuff. So that was fun. Like we got all the work stuff done. And we're like, well, we got a whole day. What do you want to do?
Get married.
Found an Elvis chapel, man, and got it taken care of.
That's you guys look great, and they look like
It was a lot of fun, man. Yeah, no, it was. I couldn't have asked for it cooler. Like it was totally memorable.
Absolutely. Like I mean, that's you're gonna remember. You two are gonna remember that forever. I mean,
Okay.
like you have some weddings that are just like, like that was fun and all, but like something like that, it's just like
Yeah, I've been to a million, and they're all great and stuff. Just they all kind of get boring. Like it's kind of a routine thing. I just figured let's skip that part. We'll have the reception separate because that's what everyone looks forward to anyway.
Of course.
And plus, me and my lady have been together for a very long time, so a huge ceremony would have been just kind of anticlimactic and for no, like, come on, it's been like a decade and some change. So
yeah, me and speaking of marriage and stuff, my anniversary is actually this weekend. We've been together for 6 years marriage wise, and we've been together 10 years almost, like as a whole, almost too long. No, we had it was crazy because like our wedding was just, it was massive. Like, because I know a lot of, like, her family has a lot of friends. My family, you know, I have a lot of friends and stuff like that. But it was a sold out show basically, to put it into terms. Like, people were standing in the back and stuff. Like, they ran out of space. I'm like, how do you how do you run out of space in a church? That's like they're sitting in the balcony.
I think I was once asked to usher, and when I asked what that, they said, "Oh, basically you're going to stand here, and every time someone walks in, you're just going to walk them
Literally the worst
all
possible.
the way down to their seat, and then walk all the way back." I was like, "Well, I'm not going to do that.
No.
Like, that's too much walking." So I just started pointing, like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, right down there to the right."
I just point. I'm the pointer.
Yeah, just point. You know where you're going. You know where you're going. Well, it's a family wedding. You know where you're going. Go.
Go sit somewhere. I don't care.
I can't walk down the. I'm like, Jesus, I didn't come here to burn calories. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, like, who goes to the wedding? They're like, hey, I'm a little carb conscious today. Gotta get some steps in while I'm here.
Like, I didn't come here to work, damn it.
I came here to get emotional and drink beer.
Yes. I'm here for the reception. The wedding is just the people paying their dues to be able to party.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, this was the main ticket, the main attractions afterwards, but you have to go to the first show before you can go to the second.
Yep. Got to watch the opener, man. That's part of the gig.
So let's jump in here. I know you're kind of limited on time. I'm a little limited on time myself. I gotta go to bed yet. I gotta love third shift.
Oh yeah, no, I understand, brother. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, I take naps throughout the day sometimes. You know, like when the kids, like, especially the little one, he'll take a nap, and I'll be like, yeah, he's sleeping. She's watching Moana. I'm gonna take a nap.
Yep.
Or sometimes
I just stay, as long as I stay within like a good earshot or a good vision of the youngest sleeping one, I will go to sleep. As long as I'm with the older two can, fend for themselves.
Yeah.
They know, they don't have to play with fire, so I like my chances.
So you have 3 kids then?
Yeah, man. The oldest is 7. The middle is 3. And the youngest is 7 months.
Oh, wow. So we have she's going to be 3 in October, and we have a 5-month-old.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, so you're working with the exact same situation.
Yeah.
But the 3-year-old seems a lot more grown up, doesn't he? Like with the arrival of a baby. The 3-year-old, like, you look at him like he's 6 almost. Or that she's almost. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, she's something else. I tell you what, like, kids say the damnedest things.
Yes, they do.
That's just like, where did you even hear that?
Yeah.
It's like,
they can cut right to your bone quicker than any adult.
It's just, it's so funny because she just picks up on every little thing. Like, she's watched, like, her favorite movie is Moana, hands down. And it's like, she'll just sit there and just, like, she'll just be like she basically knows every word to, like, every song on that movie. Or, like, or she'll say something like, even like, she's really big into Nightmare Before Christmas, thank goodness. Like, that's like the footsteps into horror right there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yes, it is.
She's just like, randomly one day, she's like, come on, Bone Man. And I'm like, what? Where did she's like, I'm like, who says that? She goes, Oogie Boogie. I'm like, that's great.
Yes, yeah, that is good.
For some reason, she really likes the mayor. I don't know why. I'm like, I guess he's kind of funny just because he just can't do anything by himself.
Sure could be. But you're right, though. Those are good footsteps into the macabre direction,
Because that movie is, I mean, if you look deep into it, it's pretty dark.
Oh, yes, it's very dark. And I think at the time, like, it's only now people are realizing just how dark it really was.
Like, the worst thing about Nightmare Before Christmas is the hype from the goth kids. Like, Hot Topic ruined that movie.
Hot Topic fucked with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And so, I mean, honestly, at this point, it's fucking with like horror and stuff now. Everybody has a Michael Myers shirt on. Everybody's got a Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt on. It's like, you've watched that movie twice in your life.
Yeah. I never thought I would feel so righteous about, like, just the horror, the genre, until Hot Topic came out.
Like, don't get me wrong. It's cool to see that stuff. I'm rolling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just, you know, as a fan, it's like, why are you...
I agree with this guy. Funko Pops run Hot Topic. Basically, like, that's the only reason why I'd ever go to Hot Topic is to get Funko Pops, especially because they have a exclusive Leatherface coming out next Friday.
Oh.
So I'll be probably running to get that. I'm very, as you can see, I've got a handful back here. This is just like, you know, most of my Pops are put away in boxes at this point. But, you know, I get the horror stuff from time to time. And, yeah, they have a new exclusive Texas Leatherface, and he's got like a hammer. And it's from like the original, like the first one. It's like basically an updated version of the one that's already out. I wish... You know, they keep releasing these Michael Myers figures. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, new Michael Myers Funko Pop. But, like, would they please just, like, you know, branch it out a little bit? Like, you know, at least, like, with NECA, they released, like, you know, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch figures, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like...
I'm a fan of it, so...
Gosh, I literally jumped at, like, I was at Target. And I've been looking for this thing for like a year, and like everywhere I go, it's like $100, like, you know, resale. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, like I went to a convention, I think it was last year, because it came out roughly in the April, May-ish, I think, something like that. And it, you know, it's pricey because there's 3 figures, so it's like, I mean, it's like $50, I think, roughly 50, 54.99, something like that, because there's 3 figures. You know, most are only like 30. But these ones, there's 3, so it's a 3-pack. And I was walking back, and I saw, like, I was like looking, kind of browsing, because you know they have that NECA Funko section in Target. And I'm looking, and I look down, and I jump out of my skin. I'm like, oh my god! Like, there's like 2 of them there, and I'm like, oh my god! And like, I'm just like grab. I'm like, yeah, you're coming home with me. No questions asked.
Score. Oh, yeah, I bet that felt good.
Oh, my gosh. It's so, like, I will not take this out of the box. Like, that is...
Yeah, that's difficult. But, yeah, don't take them out. Those are too precious.
Like, if I got another one, if I were to, I mean, considering how pricey it was, I might take them out of the box, but odds are I'm not going to take those out of the box. Because
yeah. Until you duplicate it. Yeah, I would.
Anything Halloween 3 is sacred.
Yes.
And anybody tells you otherwise, fuck them.
I agree.
I have a very strong, what's the word? Like a very strong bond with that film. And I just hate people. Like, you know, the bad thing is, and I'll defend him a little bit because I used to be that way. You know, like you first see Halloween 3, you're like, "Where's Michael?"
Mm-hmm.
Just that's that mentality. It's like that was back, but to be in my defense, that was when I was first kind of getting into horror, more or less. Like Halloween's what kind of reeled me in, and like so seeing those films and then like seeing like a Halloween 3 that has nothing to do with Michael Myers. Yeah, I had that kind of mentality. But then once I kind of grew as a horror fan, I grew more of an appreciation for like those side films that didn't get as much love as, you know, the main course. Yeah. Halloween 3 being like, you know, that's at my number 2 in the whole franchise. Like,
part 2 is dope.
It goes Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Like, and then the rest of them are just kind of like, you know, take them or leave them. Believe it or not,
I see what you're saying, though. I see what you mean. It's like when people shit all over Friday the 13th, A New Beginning.
Yeah.
Just because it's not a Jason movie. Like, I feel like they're just... I love the Jason movies. Every damn one of them. Seen them all a million times. Yeah. And I like A New Beginning, and I've only appreciated it more the older I got because when you look at the whole French, I'm like, well, hell, that's like the only one that tried something different.
Exactly. And
that's the only one that tried something. So what if it's not Jason? He fucking looked like him. There were still some pretty cool kills in there. So.
Yeah, the fact that this guy was a paramedic.
Yeah. It's the same with it's the same when people just hate Halloween 3 because Michael's not in it. Be like, just,
but he is.
Fuck off. Let it go. Let it go. It's there. You can't get rid of it. Fucking move on. If you tell me that Resurrection's better than that, you're just asking for a fight.
Oh God. Yeah. Fucked.
yeah. You're just asking for a fight. If you say Resurrection's better than fucking any movie, you're just asking for an argument.
Yeah. Like, the bad thing with Resurrection is it could have been good. Like, in a sense. Like,
they could have done something with it. Yeah. It's just all the choices made therein.
Like, the concept,
this was
yeah. The concept was
the reality TV thing, man. All that stuff just bothered me. It was too hip, like for its own good. They had like Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes, who were like super huge figures, one in music and one in like television and modeling, who really they weren't even actors for shit's sake.
No.
Right? So you're like, what the hell do we got them in here for? Popularity. So it's like they were seeking to appease with this reality show scenario. It was like just being hip with the times.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that they killed, we still have to live with the idea that the opening scene was like Laurie Strode being killed. Like, you can't erase that. We've already seen it. You can change the timeline all you want, but this ain't Star Trek. We've already seen the mistake.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
But what's kind of nice about Halloween is, like, and I've said this before, it's kind of become a pick-your-own-adventure franchise.
Exactly. That's what happens when you start flipping timelines and pretending that other things don't exist.
Exactly. Like, I think it's, that's what's kind of fun, because like a lot of people, if you don't like one of these movies, there's 10 other ones you can go watch. That's the beauty of franchises. They have a lot to choose from.
Yep.
But going to New Beginning, Friday the 13th, that was, I've only probably watched that once or twice, and the first time I watched it, I was, I liked it a lot. Like, I was like, wow, like you were saying, they did something different, and it was kind of cool because like you felt bad, pretty much for the guy who ended up being Jason. So
yeah, the father of Shelley, or not Shelley, different movie.
Yeah. What was that? Number 3. 3.
What was his name? What was that goofy guy's name?
Oh, yeah, because he was kind of like challenged.
Chocolate bar? You want a chocolate bar?
And that guy's dick.
Yeah.
And like, he just like, no, and like, just, I forget what did he even do to him. He just like
then hacked him up. But yeah. I mean, at least there was like a little. They tried to play like some kind of sympathetic arc to the killer. Same with Ms. Voorhees. So I do not hate the movie. People that do are just got nothing better to complain about.
Yeah.
Within the franchise, because I don't see a big problem with it.
These are people that like new films like Happy Death Day, which, don't get me wrong, are fun, but it's like Blumhouse films are take it or leave it, because it's like, I love some of the films that they put out, but I'm like, you're making high school musical type horror films, basically. Not musical, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they've struck gold a few times, and then but like they just keep pumping like, out.
Good movie. There's about movies. 10 shit films. Of course, I mean, like,
I haven't seen a whole lot of those, or a whole lot of Blumhouse films. I do know that I loved Get Out very much. I mean, I love that when it came out.
That's one of the very. It's crazy to think Jordan Peele, of all people, made like such a brilliant horror film.
It doesn't really surprise me though, because as much as I loved his comedy, when you watch Key and Peele, there's so much in there, like within his writing and stuff, that I could tell he was like a genre fan, and he was a self-proclaimed like stoner who just they're out smoking bowls, watching movies, and I knew he was really, really smart, because Key and Peele was hysterically brilliant.
Yeah,
Second best next to Chappelle's show in terms of like sketch comedy.
stuff like that. Yeah.
But I had like I'm not surprised at all by what because I just had a feeling, man. And then when I saw God, I said, "Yep, yeah, he's got it." Like he had a very clear vision. Like you could tell he sat there and thought about this shit.
For
You know, this was a specific. It shows in the movie, and that's what's so damn good about it.
this one,
So I'm not surprised at all at what I mean. The sky's the fucking limit for that guy, man.
it really,
Jordan Peele is incredible.
he's. I mean, he's been the host for the Twilight Zone reboot they did, which I don't know how well that did, but I
I'm not sure if it's still on or not. I know I appreciate it. I was like, well, who better to revamp it?
yeah.
You know.
He's got he got some new film coming out next year called Nope, which there's no like it was like a teaser poster basically. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a tagline. It was just a picture.
I saw the cast. I think Kaluuya's in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stephen Yin.
Yeah. That'd be a good one. He's good in everything he does, and then
Oh, he's brilliant. And I don't know who the top billed was. It was an actress, but I can't remember who it was. But Kaluuya, he's an Oscar winner now. You know, he's just good. He's just damn good. We knew that when we saw Get Out.
Yeah, he was definitely really good in Get Out, and it's kind of cool to see him in like Black Panther and stuff like that as well.
Oh yeah, him blowing up was inevitable when I saw that movie. I was like, well, learn his name now because he's blowing up.
Yeah. That's the thing, because like you're not wrong there with like some of these actors that are in these kind of like breakaway hit films. It's just like that guy's going somewhere.
Oh yeah, you can spot the talent, man. Totally.
That movie, like the first time I watched it, I kind of had to let it sit, and I kind of had to like kind of let it stew a little bit, and then I went back and rewatched it. And I'm like, wow, this is really good. Like the concept was so like the concept of like taking somebody's conscious and putting it elsewhere basically is pretty genius.
It's like an episode of the Twilight Zone. Like,
yeah,
that's what I said. It's perfect for. That's why. Like, who better than him to have brought her back?
Yeah, that whole the whole thing with them, dropping him into I forget, was there a term for the
sunken place?
Sunken place, yeah. It's kind of like the Further in Insidious, only no demons.
Yeah, it's like just a bad fucking dream.
Yeah, that you can't wake up from until somebody flashes a camera. That was kind of cool with the whole where he flashed it and then they kind of getting their conscious back, and they're like, oh, like the one guy flipping out.
Yeah, look, Keith Stanfield, and again, he blew up too. Shit, the guy's in everything. He's another really good actor.
I think the woman was the creepiest.
Oh yeah,
just her mannerisms, how she was she's just too she's always had a smile on her face, but you could tell something was way off.
Fantastic actress, Catherine Keener. She's great. She's amazing.
So, yeah, it was honestly colored actresses and stuff. There was one in the film. Have you seen the film Hidden Figures? With I don't know
about the astronauts.
Yeah,
Octavia Spencer and Taraji P. Henson.
Something like that. Yeah,
I have not seen it. No. Kevin Costner too, but no, I have not seen it.
Yeah, that one, that was just such a good story film. There's such a good story to that film, and the overall delivery of the characters, being a colored woman, having to basically run to the next building over to use the bathroom, and then she finally stood up for herself, and then Kevin Costner's character stands up for her and everything, and it was very that was a turning point for the movie, and that was a really cool. I don't know what that up actually. I don't know why I'm talking.
I bet it was damn good. I heard it was. I never did get around to seeing it.
So let's talk about let's talk about movies that you were actually in for a change. So
Rather than the ones I wish I was in, also.
yeah, what movies do you like? You know, the songs that you wish you would have written. What movie? What? Look, I do want to talk about Haunt a little bit. How, because I mean that movie was, you know, it was surprising. Like, cause you know, there's a lot of films out there that are, you know, Halloween, haunted house based movies. You know, like House of October Bill, but that was more of like a found footage type film, more or less than an actual film itself, where they go to basically just trash haunts and they're trying to find some like crazy extreme haunt. Where, as this group of kids, you know, basically kind of stumble upon the haunt itself. And it's just, like I was watching it the other day, like revisiting it, and I was like, man, it's just to think that like they could be doing this anywhere. Like, you know, this could have just been like one spot. There could be a sequel because technically your character lives.
Huh?
I mean, if we're looking,
I believe he did.
If we're looking at, you know, statistics, Damien's character obviously dies. The witch obviously dies. Well, not obviously. I mean, she does get her face basically bashed in, but let's just say she basically dies.
Horror movie rules. We could get around that.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, in the new Halloween, for instance, with, you know, the journalists. It's like they claim that both of those die, but you never really see Aaron's eyes shut. And he's still like, you know, like kind of like, you know.
They beat him in the bathroom.
The bathroom scene, yeah. Obviously, Dana, you know, her neck broke and everything. But he, like, I even asked, like, because I met him at a convention. I asked him, I'm like, so are you dead? And he's like, we kind of had this, like, little back and forth. Like, he's like, you know, that's the thing. Like, I was supposed to be, like, you know, playing it off that I had, like, I was, you know, basically about to die. And I'm like, but you never shut your eyes, did you? And I'm like, to me, I feel like I live.
They can bring him back.
They definitely could.
Totally.
I mean,
and he was good too, so I mean, they should.
I enjoyed their character, like the two. I feel really bad that Dana had to be the one that, you know, I mean, she died with booty shame too. I mean, because I don't think she got a chance to wipe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's even worse, man. She got it bad.
But so yeah, flipping it back to Haunt, like, that whole concept of that film was just great. Like, you know, it's kind of just like an old beat up warehouse with just like, you know, traps set everywhere. Like, you think, you know, like when first watching this, is like, you're like, this isn't as extreme as you would think an extreme haunt would be. Like, it just seems like there's a lot of space. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they go to room to room, but it just seems like, but then like towards the end is when everything just really blows up and gets like extreme. Like when, you know, you think of extreme, you know, like people are always blowing up about McCamey Manor.
Yeah, yeah. I've read about that place. Yeah.
I honestly, that's not a haunted house to me. That's just like I could see going there and just that, like at one point, like it stops being fun. I feel like, 'cause, you know, haunted houses,
they're just, I mean, it's torturous. If you feel like you can sit through that torture, the disgusting stuff I've read, if you need the money that bad, you know, knock yourself out. But I wouldn't call it a haunted house. I mean, it's more like a torture attraction.
I mean, maybe, you know, at some point for those sadistic type people, maybe, but like for a normal type person, like, you know, going to like a haunted house, like, you know, the Dent Schoolhouse in Cincy, or, you know, something like that. That's, you know, speaking of the Dent Schoolhouse, didn't you go there with Damien?
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking
we were shooting a wrong turn at the time, and
yeah. So I think he's good.
Yeah, he got us in there. It was the coolest thing ever because we got to kind of go past the line.
Yeah.
And the line was like an hour and a half long.
Oh yeah.
And we just followed his lead. And I don't even think they knew who I was. They just knew he was the devil.
Yeah. Like, oh.
So I just stay behind him. Like, all right, man,
He's a crew member.
do your thing. We called him Fast Pass after that because he got us right to the front.
Let's say because that's not since he's not too far from Dayton. That's about what happened.
No, hell, it's that's where I do business with like my agents, so it's okay.
Hold up. Oh, yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. I used to actually work at the in school houses, which why I think it's like really cool, like that you guys like went through there. It's like, oh
Yeah, we liked it, man. The bubble pit kind of threw me a little bit.
Oh,
there was a lot of bubbles, and I was getting really wet and like moist in the dark, and I'm like, okay, no, gross.
You got.
I don't know what this is.
And then that's when like the fog starts pouring in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. Me and David joked a lot about that. The bubbles.
Like I remember somebody says moist. Oh my gosh. My wife keeps trying to call me.
I don't know what that's like.
Again, I'm just yeah. It's like, hey, you should have known that I was doing this today. Well, if she texts me, because there was one time I was doing, I don't think I was doing an interview. I think I was just talking to somebody on here, and she's like, "It's an emergency." I'm like, "Okay," but like, I think she just forgot that I actually had this today. But anyway, jumping back to Haunt, let's talk about your character, Mitch. Ghost, as most people know him as. Like people
yeah.
I had to look it up because I forgot. I'm like, he had a name though. Like he wasn't just the ghost. Like his name was something, and I remember.
You can call me Mitch. Yeah.
I like how I think, and not just because you're on here. Honestly, like you were my favorite character actually, like favorite of the killers, just because of how like. You come on, like, when you first meet Mitch, he's kind of like, like, oh, shit, like, somebody got hurt. Like, you're very, like, you're like, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like, this is, like, you come off as, like, like, you're like, oh, shit, like, not sinister at all. And then it kind of gradually wind out and, like, you can kind of show your colors. Like when you just kind of just give them the silent treatment when they're like asking stuff, like, and you just kind of look at them like with that slow turn. I think one of my favorite shots of the film actually is when you're climbing out of the tunnel and you stand up and it's like an upward shot and you're just like,
yeah.
I'm like, it's like, I'm Batman.
Yeah, no, I remember when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, I look like I'm like 6'5". I'm like, wow, made me look a lot taller than I am.
It was such a good shot. Like it was
yeah, it was, man. That was that was night number 1 for me. That was my very first night. I think that was my very first shot of the film was coming out of that tunnel.
It was such. I love like your characters. Like you seem like you're legitimately trying to help him out, but then like you kind of realize he's fucking with him.
Yeah, that's what made the part itself so fun. Like I'd realized that the other bad guys, like we are a team.
Yeah,
they don't talk much, and I think the reason, and I never bugged Beck and Woods about this too much. Because they were always pretty busy, and I had a million questions. I just didn't want to bug the hell out of them when I probably knew the answer, And plus, they kind of let you do what you wanted, and if they wanted something else, luckily, we saw pretty eye to eye on most of it. But the duality in him, I thought, was kind of out of necessity. Like shit did go afoul with them.
Yeah.
And when he pops his head out, I think he abandoned the protocol, and it was only to kind of wrap them back up within the haunted house to lead them where he needed them to go. Because I mean, essentially, he just leads them somewhere and then traps them in. I think he started talking, as a way to get them to listen and follow order, because at that point they were doing shit they weren't supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, shit was already running afoul, and I think the devil at that point had kind of gone rogue.
Yeah.
And was off doing his own shit, which I treated like we treated the devil like he was the maverick, like of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would go full cavalier if he wanted to, and I think he kind of did in the movie, because he's there's a deleted scene where we kind of talk about what's the bad guys talk backstage of what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, and, was that?
It seemed like he was kind of like the road guy. You were kind of like you guys all had your own personas, your own what you were supposed to be, your job, I guess, what would have been.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people liked so much about it. Certainly the attention I've got from it, which still to this day blows my mind, man. Couldn't be more grateful, but it still blows my mind. Being a horror movie guy myself, I never would have imagined.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, one of the strengths of the movies is I think its number one strength is Beck and Woods, the guys that we see it through their eyes, they wrote it. Mm-hmm. Number two, I think they hired the best possible group of actors to play their good guys. Because usually with it, you get 5-6 people in a movie like this, you fucking hate at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
Or 2 of them are like a couple that won't keep their hands off each other and they get caught screwing and die. It avoided all that shit. Like, they actually had like 5 people there
that were pretty
independently good, on their own, and stood out. Every single one of them did. It was hard to watch every single one of them die. Even the asshole character, Evan, the one that the ghost took care of. It was hard to watch him go, because even he made, he wasn't a bad guy. He made noble decisions and shit within the script. Like, he could have taken off. Instead, he was an idiot and stayed there waiting on his friends, which, in real life, who would want to abandon them out of nowhere? But do you stay there in such in proximity to a guy that you don't trust, So people say he's an idiot for that. I'm like, what'd you do in that situation?
It's it'd be kind of a tough situation to kind of judge, I guess, because you're already outside.
Yeah. Because I could probably get away, but what do I do about all my friends inside? I don't have my phone. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I can't leave them here.
Yeah, I feel like his death was easiest, the most brutal, just because of the whole you bash him over the head with a hammer, look, that alone.
Oh, well, I clawed him right in the side of the head with the claw end, right in the temple.
Oh, that's okay. That's right. Because I'm that makes more sense with all the blood and stuff. But then you to take it one step further and thinking basically peel his face off with the. And I'm that's gnarly.
Fucking brutal, wasn't it? I remember seeing the effect. I'm like, oh, holy shit! Nice.
Really, and it was really well done.
Whoa!
You can see, some films do it trying that, and it, having to use maybe CGI or something, and it looked like complete dog shit. But no, that was extremely well done, and it just.
Oh yeah, man. The effects, the practical effects in that were unbelievable. My favorite character was played by Shazzy Raja I like all the good guys, but my favorite death, I guess, would be hers, which the pickaxe through the head.
Oh.
And eyeball and face. I thought that was just, man, it was just wicked. And she was hard to watch die because she was, likable. She was a very likable character.
Wasn't she the nurse?
Yeah, the nurse.
Nurse, that's right. Yeah, because he comes through, Damien comes through the door and just
pissed off, boy, walking pissed off, dude. He was gonna get one of them, and she
rattled his chain.
Her friend she let her friend go in first. Eventually, essentially, she sacrificed herself. I thought that was, that's awesome. That's
I think the biggest.
Not the worst way to go.
I feel like the biggest shocker though was when she, Harper kills her friend on without realizing. It's oh shit. It's that's. This is a very, very good, kill, but not for the person it was.
I always wonder if I'd have seen that coming if I watched the film and like wasn't in it. I always wonder if I was, because I'd read it, so I knew, that part was there. But my wife didn't, and it really threw her when she first saw it. She's like, "Man, I didn't see." I'm like, "Well, I guess I expected it."
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know if I would have seen that coming or not.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty good at guessing like the bad guys and stuff, like the killers in a movie. But I don't know if I'd have seen that coming.
Yeah.
I think it's what helps is that we're not sure whatever happened to her, so we kind of forget about her in that moment. We forget that they would have done that. It's not like we saw her locked up and them pull her out. Like we had no way of knowing. It's very good. It was a hell of a move.
It's funny. You feel bad about that. Another one I feel bad about is the guy that like he was supposed to be a killer, but ends up being kind of like the guy's just like, I'm just here doing their heavy lifting. And he's like
the rookie.
And he ends up getting shot. And it's just like, oh, poor guy.
Hey man, we had one rule, and it was, don't go telling people
what's going on. Yeah,
it's the only rule, man.
Yeah, one rule.
He was Justin Rose is his name. He was damn good too. He was a very, very nice guy and a very damn good actor.
He actually, the few scenes that he was in before he actually reveals himself, he actually does a really good job, kind of messing with them, when he's up in the rafters and you just see his head turn and you see him briefly.
Yeah, no, I thought it was excellent.
I thought everybody did collectively. I don't think there was really anybody who did a bad job in this film. Acting wise, this film was really well done on collectively. I feel like there's
thanks, man. On behalf of everybody else, I say thank you, but I couldn't agree more. Beck and Woods really, Scott Beck and Brian Woods, they cast it just wonderfully, man. It was like Nathan, the lead fella in the jersey, the baseball player. He's awesome. He's just awesome. He's a buddy of mine, man. He's just awesome. He's a lot of fun to watch. Katie Stevens was great. What a fabulous final girl.
Yeah.
She had heart. She had balls. You saw the struggle. You saw her go from weak to strong. She had an arc.
Yeah.
She was awesome, man.
Yeah, definitely a film that a lot of people, I think, it's probably surprised them. I keep getting text messages.
Mm-hmm.
How's everything on your end still?
I hear sounds like a Disney movie playing. That's good.
Good sign. That's not.
The baby monitor hasn't lit up yet, so that's good.
Everything's good. Everything's great.
About the huge.
So do you think there could be a second one?
There's, I think even Beck and Woods on Twitter, I think even at one point they kind of hinted at it, kind of jokingly, but
yeah, I
don't think anyone's going to really say anything until there's something there. And I don't, as much as I would enjoy it, I'm not sure
it would do as well.
Yeah, and at the same time, there was never a Black Christmas 2, just a shit ton of remakes,
Yeah.
And it's already got kind of this Halloween tradition with people.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel like if it needs a sequel or not. I know I would love one for me.
Yeah,
but in terms of just a film, the mythos of it,
maybe
it's up to those guys. And if they do it, I trust that they'd have a great fucking idea for it,
Yeah. Well, maybe even a prequel to Haunt, maybe not so much a sequel.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've always thought that too. I'd thought about that too. But those guys are. It's almost too easy. Those guys are so good. I don't know, man. It's up to them. They're really busy doing other really big, awesome shit right now. Those guys.
It's kind of
But if they want to come back, they, they got my number. I'd love to work with those guys again, man. They're my kind of dudes.
yeah, they did. It's kind of cool to like the thing, like as you were saying, they're doing like bigger stuff. It's kind of cool to see like all these like people who started out in these slower like for instance like Adam Wingard, for instance, he started out with like You're Next, and now he's directing stinking Godzilla versus King Kong. I mean that's insane to think. He started out with this like kind of just a little slasher flick, and then he did the Blair Witch.
Yep.
And
he actually, man, him and L.C. Holter buddies. His very first film was called Homesick, and I think he actually shot that one on film. And I can't get a damn copy of it anywhere. I've been looking because it's got LC in it. It's got Bill Moseley,
really,
Tiffany Shepis. I think it's got some cool shit to it, and I can't find it anywhere. But I've been dying to see it, and that was actually years before You're Next.
Yeah,
and then You're Next, and The Guest was awesome. That had I don't think people appreciated it at first, but now people really do.
Yeah.
And then boom, Godzilla, Kong.
Yeah.
And now he's doing Face Off. His next movie is a direct sequel to Face Off. So.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wingard's good though, man. Adam Wingard's damn good. Your Next is top 10 favorite slasher films of all time. Probably top 5 with me.
It was really well done. It's kind of cool because my first convention, I went to Horror Hound Weekend in Cincinnati back in 2014, and they had all the they had LC, they had Lane Hughes, and they had Sharni Vinson.
Mm-hmm.
And I met those three, and I actually made friends with Lane Hughes, he plays the Fox Mask.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's kind of cool, because every day, I would go back to his booth, and we just sit there and kind of bullshit. And then that was obviously where I met LC as well. I didn't talk to him a whole lot, but it's cool to see how far he's come and what all he's doing, because he started out, and it's kind of ironic that he and Hannah are doing stuff together, because she was in VHS and then he was in VHS too. So it's kind of cool. It's cool to see like I said, with you guys collectively, you, Damien, Hannah, LC, and it's you guys are a group of buddies going out and doing a bunch of films together almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely I'm definitely really definitely excited about Time's Up. That looks really like a who would have thought a Father Time New Year's Eve horror film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then
that one should be fun.
Yeah, that's the one I'm really excited for is that On Location, which I recently found out changed titles.
Yes, it is now Terror Trips,
which is actually what the the thing in the film was called.
Yeah, the name of the company that they are within the movie, Terror Trips. It was a distributor decision. I think we all loved the On Location title, but that shit actually happens a lot with movies. I've come to find titles get changed last minute sometimes. It's all about marketability. It's just part of the game, I guess.
Kind of a shame, because On Location is such a unique title.
I agree.
There's not another film out there called On Location, I don't think.
I always really liked the title. Terror Trips isn't bad though.
No, it's not bad, but it just seems almost cheesier compared to On Location.
Yes, I agree.
On Location.
I agree. It's got On Location. There's no cheese about it.
Yeah, no, it's very.
With Terror Trips, you're now I know I'm getting a horror film. When it's a damn good film. I won't say too much more because I have seen it. It's really good. I think people are really gonna like it. And I am like a Ruffalo here. I don't want to spoil anything. Because I will if I get to talking. I will.
It's a work in progress, but I think you're really gonna like it. But that with Haunt, the whole face thing, that whole concept of earning your face, that was such a weird concept, and the curator of the whole thing is some tattoo artist, is what kind of
it was essentially we had modified our bodies
I mean,
Though it was never really set in stone why, but I know that we'd decided, or at least I believe Damien did, like for him anyway, was that his face was very specifically modified with the spikes and everything,
yeah,
whereas Mitch
he's
uh,
more of a like,
and the clowns was modified intentionally, but Mitch, I treated him more like he had got caught in a fire the last time they did this when they burnt it down because his design looked more like that of a burn victim.
yeah,
Because he almost didn't look human. He looked like a fucking The Descent. Like he looked like a monster in The Descent almost.
kind
You're
of.
like,
Yeah.
holy shit, whoa,
Oh, there.
dude, the mask, holy shit! Like, and you're like, I wasn't even expecting that. But I treated it more as like a burn victim kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
he hadn't completed it because he hadn't fully healed, so it
Yeah,
was still a work in
yeah,
progress. You
yeah,
know.
as you would call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely it was definitely a unique like concept. But I was just so like who's like the curator of this whole thing? Like who's running the show? Is it the clown or is it this like this tattoo artist that shows up for like a split like 30 seconds?
Hey, that's deeper into the story, man. Who knows?
A lot
Like
of
we could be working for a higher up.
it could
I always treated it like the clown was kind of the shot caller,
yeah. Let's see.
like the main kind of dude. I always like the clown in Slipknot
Yeah,
is how I equate him. Like he's like Sean Cran.
Don Crane. Yeah,
Like he's there and he's the biggest fucker there.
yeah.
If you want to mess with him, man, good luck. But he's kind of the though you don't see him as much because like let's say with Slipknot, like he's up there, but he's very much like the founder and kind of leader of that band.
It just makes me think like like this is one location. Are there's definitely been more, and there definitely could be more. Like even with this could just be one location with just the like this amount of henchmen, but there could be more in like the woodworking.
Yeah. There's a million ways I could go with it, man, and I wouldn't. I know that's Scott and Brian's baby, but so was A Quiet Place, and I don't think they wrote the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were moving on to other stuff. So I don't even know if they have a whole lot of interest in doing sequels. But
Which is not a bad thing because
yeah, if there was like, I'm not sure I would be weary of any script. Let's say there was a Haunt 2 script or something. I'd be weary of any script that they didn't sign off on or write themselves. Because it's their baby. It's their vision. I followed that. I would just prefer it that way.
Yeah.
If I had a choice,
It's like at this point, it's like for instance, like Trick or Treat. Like if there were to be a Trick or Treat 2, there all at this point almost doesn't need to be one. Like
oh yeah, no, Trick or Treat's perfect, man.
yeah, like
Trick or Treat's
for
perfect.
the longest time, like we're sitting there, like we want a 2, we want a 2, and then he kind of teased a second one, and then it kind of never happened. And at this point, it's like, would it be a good thing that it did? Maybe it's a good thing it didn't happen.
Well, the first one has only like increased in its value
Yeah,
because it still stands out to this day. So nothing has come along that could hurt it.
yeah,
But who knows, man? I know the first one is that's hard to top. It's kind of like the original Creep Show. Now I like Creep Show too, but it's nothing like the first one. And what are you gonna do? Like,
exactly.
not that they're bad. It's just it's not part one.
It's kind of cool because
Not that lightning in a bottle.
yeah, there's actually now technically, if we're keeping score, there technically is kind of a Trick or Treat sequel. There's a comic book written back in like 2015. It's called Days of the Dead or Day of the Dead, and it's like 4 more intertwined stories. But it's a lot more ancient stuff. Like it goes into the more ancient like traditional stuff in the Halloween like lore. And Dougherty did that himself as well. And like I feel like, man, if like he did a 2, he could definitely like this should be. I would like to see this in film form. Like if you ever find a copy of it, definitely check it out.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. yeah.
What time is it?
Yeah. So one thing I don't have in my little man cave
Same here. Like I do these.
is a clock. Yeah, because I guess when I come in here, I'm trying to escape time.
Yeah. I'm just curious because like I'm very I'm like long chats and interviews. Like I'm like, man, I need to start cutting back things because like they're getting to the point like where it's like people are gonna stop watching halfway through because it's so damn long. It's like I was talking to Nathan Haneman who runs Horror Hound. I'm like, man, if we ever did an interview, it'd have to be like a mini series. Because it'd be like, we're gonna have to cut off here. We'll have to pick back up at a later date to be continued.
I understand. Anytime I speak to like LC on the phone, we're looking at about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think it's great because my interviews, like, they almost don't end up being interviews. They mostly end up being like, just two people, just talking or just chatting and stuff like that. It's very like because you have those people that do these interviews and they're very professional. Like I like to have a small sense of professionability because I'm still trying to make a name for this whole Rotten Report thing. But then again, I also want to be very laid back wouldn't be the term I would use, but just kind of chill environment. Like we could talk about anything here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, there's going to be a point where I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. Where like if I'm talking to somebody a little bigger, I'm going to have to like I'm going to have to like be straight to the point. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Get them bad boys across before they.
You got 5 minutes. What?
Yeah. Don't ask me about this. Don't ask me about this. Don't ask me like, oh shit.
Well, I guess we can't do this. This is just what's been so much fun. Like I've interviewed, David Howard Thornton from Terrifier. I mean, that was such a fun,
he seems like a cool dude.
It was like an hour and 45 minutes that one ended up being. And it's just like, but because we both just wouldn't shut up, more or less. That's what I think what it boils down to. Like even when I was interviewing Sandy Johnson from Halloween, I mean, we were just, kind of just going back. I had, a lot of times when it comes to like, I'll have a lot of questions written down or like sometimes I'll just have it in my head. Like today, for instance, a lot of the stuff I've been, asking has just been kind of like off the top of my head. But like when it comes to this, like other things, it's like, I need to have this written down and I want to do it in like a, going like kind of like order almost. But I end up coming out of order usually. Like I'll jump.
Yeah. I'd do the same thing, honestly.
It's definitely become like a hobby and like people like I can't believe like you're making like a lot of people have been following it and it's like you're making a hobby out of something that you could definitely take somewhere at some point. And I'm like, well, I mean that's the goal, I guess. I mean I have shirts now, so that's something.
Hell yeah. That's a step. That's a big step too. Merch. That's a big step.
Yeah, it's like people are like, oh man, I want one. I'm like, well, they're made to order, so let me know. I kind of done my own like thing because I have a little like print shop here in town that prints shirts and stuff like that, and you have to have so many before they give you a discount on it, and I'm like, oh crap, so I'm gonna have to find 12 people to buy a shirt. And
Just pre-order. That's all good.
pretty much what it was is like you're pre-ordering this. I'm like, if you want a shirt, you got to pay for it now. Like I said, like the whole because a lot of these people do these shirt companies that, and I don't know how that stuff works. Like I feel like that's just gonna like, I'm not to that point where I can use like Teespring or something like that. I'd rather just know that I'm in control of what's being made and know that I can get it to them myself rather than like trusting a company
that's appreciated too, I'm sure.
Where the shirt, because you don't know how the shirt might end up turning out. Whereas, like, I did a trial run with this print shop. I got myself one made just to make sure, like, I liked how it looked before I went and got more made for, people that wanted them. and they turned out really good. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll just go ahead and throw this up, and if somebody wants one, they can definitely order one. I think hats are next.
Oh yeah, especially if the shirts do well.
Yeah, I have like I'm trying to I have an alternate logo, so I might eventually like release that shirt as well. So, but we'll see. We'll see what goes from there. So what's all on your dinner plate upcoming, like, film wise? I know you're on location, you are a part of Time's Up, you're a part of.
Yeah, I'm not sure when Time's Up will be out. Terror Trips, I believe, is being released the beginning of next year, I believe. There's a couple other, well, there's a Midwest Monster Fest. I'll be doing that in September in East Moline. Looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. That's a couple days with the Hunt boys.
Very cool.
And there's a couple projects, but I don't know what I can say about them like at this point.
A little early in the
Yeah, I'm not the captain of them, otherwise I'd be yapping, but I don't know what the hell I'm allowed to say or what information I can release.
I can understand. I understand. I've had a lot of people. I've had some people like, I can't talk too much about this, but I can say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, but it's, hopefully it all works out. I've learned that it's better to, till it's all set in stone, I don't generally talk about it.
It's probably for the best. I mean, like,
yeah, because there's always a lot of stuff floating around, but
the internet is a terrible
if it solidifies, then yeah, I'll be talking about it quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I understand that for sure. But it's cool that you have, you have stuff on the horizon at least. It's great that,
Yeah, it's never enough, but it's still it's a build.
So do you do anything other than, acting? Like, do you have like, like, what did you do?
I worked in a restaurant there for a whole lot of years. I'll still kind of do that periodically back home.
Yeah.
If there's downtime, just for something to do. But for the most part, no, it's just this.
Just acting.
Just the gig, yeah.
It's a gig. My gig is factory work. It's wonderful. I'm not. But it's a good job and it has good insurance, so that's all I can ask for, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, like, let's see here. So, did you, like, growing up, is acting something that you definitely felt like you could see yourself doing?
Oh yeah, I'd wanted to be that my whole life, like as far back as I can remember. 5 or 6, I just know I wanted to be performing.
Yeah.
Somehow, was always kind of a little show off, kind of obnoxious. But you take all that energy and focus it on something,
Absolutely.
But no, I'd wanted to be an actor as long as I can remember.
So somebody's asked.
It always looked like fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was such a topsy-turvy kid because I was always into music. Like, I wasn't as much of a movie person back when I was younger than I am now. Like, back then I was always music and like stuff like that. And my mom's like, you're gonna be a singer or something someday. I'm like, please, Mom, not with this ugly ass mug. No, but it's ironic. That's actually how I met my wife, though. I was in a band. So, I mean, there's that, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I don't get to do it as much, but I played music for years, ever since I was about 14, roughly. Played music
cool.
all the way up. Yeah. Until we started having kids, everybody, we.
That's what happens.
Everybody started working more and stuff, and but there's always it's always there for me when I need it.
Yeah, me and a couple of my buddies, like, it was basically like, this is about 10 years ago, actually. We kind of just formed like it was like a 3-piece metal band. We didn't even have a bass player. We just had a guitarist, a vocalist, and a drummer.
Mm.
It's very, Like,
if the drummer is really, really, really good, you can get by without a bass player just for a little bit.
yeah,
The
most of
drummer's got to be damn good.
yeah, it was a fun little thing we had going for a while there. It was like it was almost like a summer gig almost because we really were only a band for a couple months before it. It was kind of like I was kind of going through a rough time that was during this summer. Like I got an out of relationship. I think college. I kind of quit going to college, so I just kind of like at this point was just kind of hanging out with friends like all the time, like just dicking around most of the summer. Not, it was kind of a reckless refer to refer to it now.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just kind of, it was just one thing we just kind of started talking about. I was like, hey, let's just do this. Let's form a band. Let's just start. Like, it was like a little like metal 3-piece metal group. We played like 2 shows the whole time we were a band. I think we had maybe 4 or 5 songs all together that we were. The thing was though, like every song we played was an original, so we didn't play any covers or anything. But we played. Our first show was at a 4-H fair. I'm like, we probably shouldn't be here. Like we were talking to the guy running the stage. He's like, well, when you guys are playing, I'm not even gonna be over here, so whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't think these people are gonna be a fan of this. But it was surprising actually, because it was kind of heavier stuff. I wouldn't say like Slipknot. Well, I mean it was along the lines of that, but not as like chaotic. It was more grounded, I guess. But it was funny because we were having people come up to us and these were like older people saying like, that's not, it's not our type of music, but you guys, you did really good. Like it was kind of nice to hear just, hey, it's not my thing, but you guys did a good job. And it was so weird to hear that from like older people that wouldn't listen to that stuff on like the radio. Yeah, 4-H fair, and then we played at some kid's basement for like his birthday or something.
I remember those.
At old house shows.
Basement shows, yep.
I had a band who I was really good friends. Like I was friends with everybody in the band. They were doing an EP, and they asked me, I said, hey, you want to come and do a guest part on this song? I'm like, really? You're asking me if I want to do a guest vocal part? And they're like, yeah, like come on out and do it with it. Okay. And it was kind of cool because like every so often they would play a show that I would be able to go to, and they'd have me jump on and do the song with them too. So that was always a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I miss the music days, but now I'm kind of like, I listen to music a lot still, but I'm more like, with this stuff or like, really just big into like filming, like film stuff and all that. Like, cause like growing up, like in my teens, like as a kid growing up, like I watched the same probably 10 movies. I was one of those kids who like basically if like there was a movie I liked, like Toy Story or something, I watched it a billion times or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I never really branched out I wasn't a horror fan as a kid growing up. I honestly wasn't a horror fan until I was like in my late like teens. Very, very ashamed to admit that.
Better late than never, man.
That's what a lot of people tell me. I'm like, well, if you really knew my backstory, you'd be like, man, what a like when I growing up as a kid, I was a scared little kid. Like, I had an overactive imagination, thought everything was real. Like, Scream was like my worst nightmare. Whatever reason, that mask just like terrified me as a child. I don't know what it was.
It don't scare me no more because there's only one ghost now. Like Ghostface is. Ghostface ain't got shit on Mitch, dude.
Dude,
Ghostface is. He ain't got nothing on Mitch. Mitch would eat him.
Well, I think he
eat his body.
He would eat him probably because like
Ghostface don't want to be in a room with Mitch, dude.
They need an epic rap battle of history with Ghostface and Ghost.
I'll contribute lyrics.
Like I remember back when Walmart used to do like they used to always put out like like it was in the frozen section, like they had these like cases where they put all the frozen stuff. They'd put like statues and shit on top of them, and they had a Ghostface like statue did up, and I'm like sitting here like walking with my mom, like clinging to her arm, and she's like, "It's not real," blah blah blah. Like, see, Shane, it's not real. It can't. Blah blah. And I'm like, and as
Hey,
soon as we get,
if I throw my ghost mask on here, dude, my son freaks out. He does not like to see it on my body.
I'll see it elsewhere, not on you.
Yeah, he'll hold it. He'll hold it.
Yeah.
But he will not. Yeah, he don't want to see me with it on. I can hear him in there yelling, "Goofball!
What are you doing in there?" That's
Yeah.
what, if my dog right now, she'd be like, "What are you doing? I'm talking to somebody. Leave me alone." But yeah, my mom was the type of person who would be like, "It's not real. It can't hurt you," and then like a second later, be like, "Oh, I think he moved." So here's like 8-year-old Tubby Shane running, screaming bloody murder through Walmart, and my mom's thinking to herself, "What have I done?" It's like and it's funny because like, it's funny now because like, Scream has become one of my favorite movies. It's so
That's a good one, man.
it really is like it definitely probably one of the best of the '90s, considering '90s was really shit for horror films.
A lot of really good bad ones, but nothing
Like,
fantastic. Yeah.
like '90s was a good decade for everything else but horror. Like '90s was a good decade for comedies.
It was a good decade for those late night, like HBO Cinemax movies, like Don the Dragon Wilson movies, and those action, like Michael Dudikoff movies and shit.
Yeah.
American Ninja, those flicks.
Like Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura.
Cynthia Rothrock movies.
Like,
That's what I remember most about the '90s.
Yeah, I was big into like comedy, like '90s Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah.
Or like Clerks and Mallrats. Gotta love those. I'm excited for Clerks 3.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how. Well, yeah, how that bad boy turns out. Kevin Smith can like put a flick together pretty quick. He knows exactly what he wants when he's going in, so he doesn't pussyfoot around. He usually gets it taken care of.
I'm so bummed because he was supposed to be at Horror Hound back in March of last year. Like he was supposed to be. It was him. I mean, it was a bunch. Like Jay Muse was going to be there. Jeff Anderson, Brian O'Halloran, Jeremy London from Mallrats.
Yeah.
Joey, what's her name? She's in,
Joey Lauren Adams.
Yeah, I could never. Yeah. I know. I always remember her name is Joe. Yeah, she's on like all of his movies, and I remember specifically from Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Growing up, Adam Sandler's Big Daddy.
Chasing Amy was like her big flick there. That was a good one.
It was such a good movie. It was a good flick. It was a good love story. It's so weird because like
it was.
He did that reboot, and it kind of like. I'm looking at it now, like looking at all the characters that are in it, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, how did he do this? Bring these characters back, but like Brody's not who he is, and chasing because they had that whole little spit with like Chasing Amy, like where they had Fleck and him, and the daughter was Amy, but then Brody's guy from at the mall with the comic book shop, but he was also in Chasing Amy as a different character.
It's Banky. Spanky.
Yeah. He was Ben Affleck's best friend or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like he makes it like kind of, I don't know. But he did a really good job with it, though. I enjoyed it. It's definitely one of those films that you're like, man, I feel old.
Yeah.
Me, like,
oh, shit, buddy. I got it looks like I'm going to have to get going, man. I hear the little one waking up.
Well, I'll let you go then. I appreciate you hopping on here with me, chatting it up.
Hey, no problem, buddy. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. And I'll let you get to your get to your little one, and you take care.
You too, buddy. Stay in touch, man. I'll keep you updated. Yep. If anything awesome should happen.
I'm sure it will.
I hope so. See you, buddy.
Take care.
You too, man.